Today's video is brought to you by TV.com. That is spelled with 2 E's and 3 E's, TEEVEEE.com. Head over there right now through the link in the box. Subscribe to my channel for some exclusive video content. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about China and the NBA and a tweet from the Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey. Now, there is a whole lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say, and some of you may not like my stance. Don't take it as I support China. Take it as I'm looking at it from a logical point of view. The main thing I want to do right here is point out the reality of the situation and also the hypocrisy that surrounds these types of incidents. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me back up a little bit here to explain what's happening so you'll grasp what I'm throwing out here at the very beginning. Now, the Houston Rockets of the NBA have a general manager, and that man's name is Daryl Morey. On Twitter, he posted something that was in support of the protesters in Hong Kong. And I'll place that now deleted tweet on the screen before you. Now, this tweet has caused a lot of problems, not only for the Houston Rockets, but also for the entire NBA. The CBA, that's a Chinese Basketball Association, who, by the way, is headed up by one Yao Ming, who spent his entire career with the Houston Rockets, but we'll get to that in a moment. They immediately cut ties with the Houston Rockets, or at least they've quote unquote suspended ties with the Houston Rockets. Now, what does this really mean? Well, there's plenty of money involved here, because sometimes you'll see the Rockets players wearing jerseys with Chinese letters on them. There are a lot of Houston Rockets games that are played in China, like as far as physically being in the actual country. You also have a lot of the games shown on TV. I was reading stats that said at least 300 million Chinese people play basketball recreationally, and at least 500 million people have watched at least one game last year. Now, to put it into context, we have almost about 325 million people here in the U.S. That equivalent have played the game in China. Almost double our population has watched at least one game. So that is a whole lot of money. Big time market over there. Imagine the streaming deals, the TV deals, the merchandise, the game tickets if they go over there and play, even in the preseason exhibition or whatever. Imagine all the money that is generated from China. China has like, what, 1.3 billion people? That is a humongous market, and at least 30-40% of them love NBA basketball. That is now in jeopardy as a result of that tweet in support of Hong Kong. Now, the NBA and also Daryl Morey have come out and apologized for this, and nobody is supporting this man at all. The woke people, LeBron James, Greg Popovich, all these people are not supporting this man. The NBA itself, like I said, have apologized. They're not supporting this man. And if you remember, the NBA boycotted Charlotte, North Carolina because of the whole transgender bathroom bill. Okay, so they're a pretty woke organization. Greg Popovich, the coach of the San Antonio Spurs, is always on TV talking about some woke stuff and all this and that, and players' rights, whoop. You know, same thing with LeBron James. He's out there talking about, players' rights and supporting the athletes, and you're more than a basketball player, all this and that. But nobody's coming to this man's defense. Now, some are saying that they should come to his defense. Some are saying that it was wrong for the NBA to quote unquote bend the knee to the communist regime in China. But my question to you who say that is, what else are you going to do? There's not a lot of options here. Now, I support what Hong Kong is doing. I think that they deserve to not be up under the boot of the communist regime in China. I do not support communist regimes at all. But when it comes to business, what are you really going to do? Okay, if China is a big business partner with you, you're making billions of dollars with them, and you post something that is in opposition of their interests, and they say, okay, we don't like that, we're going to cut ties, all you can do is accept that or not. If you're not going to accept it, all you can do is apologize and try to fix it. You can't go over there and like liberate Hong Kong. I mean, what is the NBA going to do to free Hong Kong? Think about it. The NBA is an entertainment organization. They're out here playing the sport. They have no power at all to change anything in China as it relates to their government. None whatsoever. The U.S. really shouldn't be going over there. We're fighting a trade war, and that's hard. How are we going to go over there and fight some kind of ground war? And for what? Because, one basketball team has had ties cut from the Chinese Basketball Association. I mean, we're going to go over there and fight for that. Why? We're going to shed blood for that because that's what's going to come down to. You're not going to change their mind. Okay, like I said, I don't support the communist regime. I support what Hong Kong is doing. But if you're going to make money, if you're trying to actually eat over there in China, you got to do what they say when it comes to certain things you do on Twitter. Either you're going to do that or just not take that money. Now, I mean, you think the NBA is going to give up that money? I think not. But I got to point to the hypocrisy here. Big time. A lot of these so-called woke companies aren't as woke as you think. A lot of these woke individuals are the same way. Let's go back to the young lady, Greta Thunberg, talking about climate change, all this, that, and the third. She wants to point out countries like Germany, France, Brazil, Argentina, and Turkey as like the top CO2 emitters, top polluters, or whatever. But she did not mention China and India. I wonder why. Maybe it's because you can't do anything about it. What are you really going to do? You can't bully them or pressure them into anything. It's a communist regime. They're putting people in concentration camps, making big rocks to little rocks. What makes you as a regular individual think you're going to be able to go over there and make change happen? You're not going to be able to do it. The Hong Kongers are millions strong in the street and they're struggling. So how are you as one person or you as one general manager or you as one organization going to be able to do anything at all? Especially when you're a foreigner, not even in the actual country or city you're speaking of. You're not really going to be able to get anything done that way. So I think that what the NBA did is right on point. All the wokeness, we know now that that's just a front. That's not even really a real thing. A lot of these companies, a lot of these people, they get on here, wax poetic and all this and that. But when it comes down to getting that money, when it comes down to getting that check, when it comes down to really, really being about that quote unquote woke life, they're not really with it. The money will take precedent. It's clear. This is how it always is. Always. Like I said, China and India are pretty much allowed to do whatever they want to do. Nobody cares. And it's okay. Human rights violations. Oh, and here's a good way to bring it on home as I close. You have these LGBTQIA ABCD organizations that want to rail against the Christian bakers for not baking a gay wedding cake. You want to sue them, throw them under the bus, put their name out there, dox them. But what about the Middle East, where you can get stoned to death for being a homosexual, where you can get thrown from the roof of some kind of gigantic building for being gay? What about them? Oh, you won't talk about that. You don't want to discuss that because you know that you really can't do anything about it. If you go over there trying to be an activist and, showing your breasts, all this, that, and the third, in the name of trying to defend homosexuality in those regions, it's not going to end well for you. You know where your boundaries are. You're not going to cross those boundaries. Unfortunately for Daryl Morey, he had to find out the hard way. Maybe he thought, I'm just being woke. This is the NBA's whole thing we got going on. Free Hong Kong, defend Hong Kong. But then here comes Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, like, well, look, man, we got free speech, right? But there's consequences of that free speech. So you might want to just go ahead and apologize for that so we can keep getting this money. Popovich wanted to be out there talking all quote unquote woke. But when it comes to Daryl Morey, his fellow Texan, I ain't gonna say nothing because, hey, I'm trying to keep getting my money. LeBron James, everybody else, same thing. It's all about cash with these big companies. Do not allow the woke facade to fool you. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. So what do you think? Do you agree with me that this whole woke culture in the NBA, NFL, and other sports is no more than a superficial front? Because when it really comes down to it, that money is going to take precedent. All of this is about money. If they can make more money by being, quote unquote, socially conscious and aware, they're going to do it. If they make less money by being quote unquote conscious and aware, they're not going to do it. It's simple as that. There's no morality or any kind of ethics involved. It's about that bottom line. And if it does not make dollars, it does not make sense. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.